he starts getting ready for the so-called heist. So you have the entire city's police force on him. Literally everyone's trying to kill him. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Something Cafe, the Cafe Critique. Welcome to the Cafe Critique. We are reviewing the movie Monkey Man by Dev Patel. Yes?
I have no idea.
Damn it, Brittany! Do your
sorry.
research. Dev Patel, Monkey Man. And if you've been watching, you will know that I never watched the trailers. I watched the trailer for this one because I was very interested in it. As you can tell, this was my pick for this week, even though I will always talk the most on every episode.
Oh my god.
I think it came out last month, right?
Yeah, about...
Yep. Pretty new.
Yeah.
Pretty new. It was a pretty incredible movie. It's an action movie. It's rated R. It is rated R for a reason. Just a lot of violence.
Yeah.
A little bit more than you might see in the next Avengers film, but less than, like Saw. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Just that is the quick introduction to it. It had about, I would guess, a 3-hour runtime. Don't you think?
Oh, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Brittany wouldn't be able to tell you why, because...
Well, wait, we have to explain.
Yes,
this is my second time.
You explain while I turn that light back on.
This is my second time seeing the movie.
Your fault.
My fault. I am a regular movie goer. So, of course, I didn't think, well, Celestino would like to go see Monkey Man, so I should wait. I was like, I'm going to go see Monkey Man because I want to go freaking see Monkey Man.
So this is what I told Brittany. I said, you did that to yourself. Why? Because Brittany knows I will never go to the movies unless I have a reason for it, and that is Cafe Critique, and Brittany loves to go all the time. So I told Brittany, that's why when you're looking, if you want to go see a movie on your own, you need to prepare yourself for the fact that I might pick it, because I will never see a movie twice. So, yeah.
So basically, the reason why I couldn't discover if it was a 3-hour long time was because I fell asleep this time.
Brittany says she fell asleep for the last hour. I want to say maybe 30 minutes, just because I thought I heard you laugh a couple times.
No.
Well, no, I thought you laughed when I laughed, because I laughed at when... Did you see the thumb get cut off?
No.
Okay, wow, yeah, it was an hour. All right, well, that was a very pivotal point. I did not know any of the actors in them,
No.
but both of the female leads are two of my new celebrity crushes, so I will get to know them, because those are...
Beautiful women.
I'm single. Come here. Main themes...
Redemption arc.
Yeah. I mean,
Revenge.
Pretty much.
Revenge arc, not redemption arc.
Pretty a pretty cheesy theme. Cheesy doesn't mean they did it bad.
Yeah, no, because they did that.
They
excellent.
did it very, very good. But the redemption arc. I mean,
who would you recommend this movie to?
I recommend it to the people who are, because this was basically just, and this is not a bad word. This is the actual term.
I'm scared.
It's fine. This is Punjabi John Wick. It really is.
I'm so dead.
It takes place in India. There are Punjabi, themes and references, with also like the religion that they continue to reference, with the goddess of Shiva and Vishnu. Shiva being the goddess of destruction, which CERN. Do you know CERN?
I know nothing about these gods.
CERN is not a god; it's a facility
in
America. That's funny. Where they have the CERN particle accelerator.
No, why would I, an average American citizen?
It's like a big thing in science.
I'm not a science person.
You think I'm a science person? Lars is a science person.
Lars is a
Never
science
mind,
person.
but they have a statue of of Shiva there, and it's
Wow.
very cryptic because it's like the world's biggest and only particle accelerator, and all they do every day is attempt to create microscopic atomic black holes to use as
What
energy.
the freak?
They do this like all the
What
time.
the heck? I'm literally looking this up as soon as I leave here.
And they have the goddess of destruction as a statue outside of it.
I'm done. We're dying.
So, who would I who would I recommend Punjabi John Wick to? People who are a fan of John Wick, people who are a fan of maybe Marvel movies. The reason I say John Wick is, one, they literally referenced John Wick once in the film, which like it was a throwaway line. It didn't have any weight to it, but it's like, some inspiration came from that. I mean, so many of these scenes, I mean, I felt like they were shot similar to a John Wick fight scene. A lot of the fighting was similar to John Wick fighting. It was less clever fighting and more brutal and fun fighting. I think, no fight was boring. It was really well done. So out of 100, given what we just said, without thinking into it too much, but I'm already thinking about it because I've known what I've wanted to say since we left. You go first this time. Out of 100.
Out of 100, I would give my soft lock-in answer at 75.
75.
Out of 100.
I'm going to give it, for the spoiler-free, I'm going to give it a 71.
Oh.
I'm going to give it, you know what? 70. 70. I'm gonna give it a.
Lose?
Huh?
Where did it lose 1 point?
It's behavior in class. I don't know. So 70, 75. The average is up on. Here's our average up on the screen right now. That is our spoiler-free score. We are about to end the spoiler-free section of this episode. So what we say every time, praying that you might come back to watch the rest of it if you haven't seen it or you don't want to get spoiled. We are about to get into the spoiler zone. So I will let you start off the spoiler zone since I talked a lot last episode. I'm gonna let you start this one off. Go in.
We start with him envisioning past memories of his mother, and then we get straight into it about him being a fighter. We see lots of fights. He's like, I need to make money.
Have you guys ever watched the Avatar: Last Airbender show?
Yes.
It was just like the first episode of the Avatar: The Last Airbender. Not the first episode. I totally just pulled that out of my butt because that's the only one that I've seen. So I instinctively called it the first. Do you remember when Aang is fighting in the ring and then Toph comes in and then beats his ass?
Yeah.
It was basically that.
Yeah.
Right.
Repeatedly.
Go on.
And then he's looking for more ways to make money. It's just not cutting it there. Obviously he has this goal in mind of killing this dude, but the thing is that you don't really get to understand that like beforehand. You're like, how did he know that?
It takes a while.
Yeah, it does take a while to get to that point.
It takes a while.
Yeah, because we're like, okay, so he has this friend that just knows all sorts of information by the name of Lucky. And he gets information through Lucky. So Lucky tells him information about this lady, and then they have a whole entire run.
Lucky didn't even like we don't even know who Lucky, like, it was just
Their
some
like
this
relationship.
this random kid who gets information for money. I think it's fine that they didn't go into who Lucky was in their relationship, because I think what they were trying to pull off is, we see it in the scene where Lucky gets the purse, or no, it's not. Was it who's the one who ordered the purse stealing?
So it was definitely him.
Lucky or main guy?
Main character.
Okay, thank you. So I think he So the main character, he's like, we need to steal this super powerful lady's purse for me to get in to like introduce myself to her. And the reason I bring that up is because while the purse is being stolen, you see it go through a very intricate hand to hand system of many people through shops, through windows. It's like this giant conveyor chain of these random people handing it to one another finally gets to him. The reason I bring that up is because maybe Lucky is just another cog in that machine where they all work together because they're all living in poverty, and maybe they did it on purpose. Maybe they didn't expound on Lucky on purpose because they kind of wanted to show like, hey, we don't need to explain every character. We just want to show you guys that everyone knows everyone here.
Yeah, no, especially.
What is Lars doing?
He is attacking my foot.
Yep, that's him. Lucky gets some info on this really powerful lady who is not the mastermind of this business, but is kind of like she's kind of like the manager. Like she's kind of the one that like runs the show. And Lucky was like, hey, she runs a really high class business, and I think if you got face to face with her, you could probably get into a conversation with her and maybe get an opportunity to work. Because the thing, I'm not sure how much you know about the classism in India, but it is some of the most intense. What's the word? It is some of the most intense display of classism within ethnic communities. And that's what we basically get introduced to him in. He's literally doing dog fights, but he is one of the dogs for half of the money that he was promised. Now he's the only one who actually stood up and said, I'm gonna do this. And why is that? Because I think he had the one motive that no one else had there, and that was the vengeance for his mother. So back to the storyline. So he infiltrates into this into this business that has much more going on behind the scenes, and I think he knows that. He knows that because he knows that the guy who killed his mother when he was a kid was affiliated with this company, with this group. I almost want to call it with this, for a in closing term, like this mafia of sorts. So he gets lucky, so he gets a job. It was pretty intense conversations to get the job. He proved to the woman, hey, I will do the worst kinds of work. Then we see a kind of a montage of sorts, a little fast forward of him doing all this really crappy work. He meets some more people. He meets this one guy. Now, this brings up a good point that I was thinking throughout the movie, and except for Lucky, name me one other character's name.
Bobby.
Thank you.
But also, Bobby was a fake name.
I know.
I'm glad you picked up on that Bobby's bleach.
Yeah. You could not tell me who was named who. Yes, they did say everybody's name at least once, but never once again in the movie were anyone's names repeated. I'm not saying every scene should start out like, oh, Brittany, I just saw you 2 minutes ago. Brittany, I'm not saying they have to do that, but you did not know anybody's name. Not even the main character. You couldn't put a face to a name at all. That was one big issue I had with it. Yeah. It had nothing to do with them maybe having complicated names that we might not be able to remember as easily as a name like Kyle. That has nothing to do with it. They never said it. That was a big issue I had. And the reason why that's a big issue, because as I'm trying to explain this relationship that the main character, again, I'm calling him the main character. The main character kind of becomes, he kind of establishes this friendship with like this guy who's a part of the organization, but he's kind of silly. He's kind of like the do what I tell you to do kind of guy, go do the dirty work kind of guy. He's kind of lighthearted. If you've ever seen Fast and Furious 3 Tokyo Drift, he's kind of like the black guy in that film when he pulls up his car to the main character and him and the main character team up, you know. He was kind of that. He was integral, but kind of silly, kind of flowy. So I'm skipping a lot of dialogue and scenes, but the next main point is them to come up with a strategy to make even more money. The main character kind of fills him in on what his actual motive is, and then his friend's like, oh, all right, like, I'm in. Lots of scenes of the main character preparing for this. He goes and buys a gun from an underground dealer. He does all this research. He does this. He does that. He trains a dog to learn fetch, but with a gun and not a ball. It was really cool. They did a really good job showing all that happening without any dialogue. You know, because sometimes that's hard, right? They won't have any dialogue. You're like, what the heck's going on? No, it actually. It was pretty easy to follow up until maybe an hour. Brittany, past an hour, I had no idea what was going on. I will let you know when I get to the point. So pretty standard scenes. He starts getting ready for the so-called heist. He attempts to kill this guy. This scene pissed me off so much. I get it. They need to make the story longer. One of my biggest pet peeves, and not just movies, but life, is when the main character is like literally right there. He had the gun pointed to this guy's head. The whole point of this movie is for him to kill this bad guy. He has the gun pointed to his head. He takes just a little too long to finish his stupid little sentence / speech, like, oh, you, my mother, blah, blah, blah. and then the bad guy's boys come in and save him. Like that bothers me so much, because it's like, dude, you obviously don't care. Like, you already at this point, you have no remorse. I know you could have easily pulled that trigger.
Yeah.
But the directors needed something to push the story along, and I think it's stupid. So the first attempt happens. The whole city's police is on his ass. He's running. Diving through windows, going through the brothel, which was some interesting scenes there. A little bit of science going on, and eventually he finally escapes. But now he's like totally fugitive. Like he runs, and then he gets shot by a sniper from like a helicopter or something. Falls into this lake, and I actually thought he was gonna die. Like it was really good. It was a really good scene. Like he's falling deeper and deeper into this lake. I'm thinking to myself, like, literally everyone's trying to kill him, which is kind of it's like, well, when you think about it that way, how did they save him? I mean, like, they know where he is. They just shot him. Mm-hmm. They know where he's sinking. They just shot him there. So you have the entire city's police force on him, and somehow he gets saved by a couple hippies?
Okay.
Right? I mean, right?
Yes. But if you think about it, when he got into the car crash in that one dude's car. Because
it was one where he didn't want to run over the little girl, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So when he got into that car crash, do you remember when the cops were coming up to him and they smashed, like, his head in with that, like, thing?
Yeah.
Their main point was not to capture him. Their main point was to kill him.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so if they think that he's dead, they're not going to capture him.
I guess I was assuming that they would kind of write it in a way where, like, they go and make sure that he's dead.
Yeah.
But I mean, me saying that I thought he was dead, I think that's enough evidence for your point to be correct.
Yeah.
with okay, yeah, fair. Okay. So I guess, yeah, they think he's dead. He gets saved by some of these hippies. And now here, again, this is where, because no names are said or remembered,
Can't tell you who they are.
exactly, which is one of my one of my biggest pet peeves with this film. So he gets he gets saved by the spirit, like this spiritual group. I thought, now that the leader of the spiritual group, yeah,
Yes.
I thought that was the same person as the bad spiritual leader.
Yes. So when I first watched the movie, yeah, I was like, what the?
Yeah.
This man literally just saved him? I'm like, wow, that's
So
amazing.
For a good 30 minutes, I was sold on the fact that is this one of those things where it's like like Scar talking to Simba. Like Simba doesn't know that Scar's the bad guy, but Scar is very enticing and is talking to him. I won't kill your father. Kind of things like that, right? I thought that's what it was. I thought like this evil religious guy, he wants to kill the main character, but he's gonna play with him a little bit, get to know him, get to know his weaknesses, see if he has any other friends. Turns out it wasn't even the same dude. So that was kind of frustrating because, again, why? Because both of those, they were kind of playing the same character, but on different sides. They were both spiritual leaders of sorts. They both looked similar because, of course, they're wearing the same things, kind of, right? Like this kind of very, very flouty robes and jewelry, so I thought it was the same person. When he first introduced the main character to the I guess, for the lack of better terms, I'll say temple. When he first introduced him to the temple, he showed him to a statue.
Yes.
And the statue was half male, half female. And because he's like the devout spiritual dude of this commune,
takes on those characteristics.
Good point. Yeah. But you still could not tell them apart.
No.
So now starts the redemption arc, right? We've already had the fall of the hero. He's at his lowest. He was right there, was gonna kill the guy that murdered his mother. Like, not even killed, he murdered her, which we see that scene later. Like, the main character is full of this anger and vengeance, and he failed.
Yep.
And now starts the redemption arc. And when it comes to him getting ready for the final conflicts and stuff like that, it's pretty typical, right? So he's doing a lot of training. He's doing a lot of he's getting physically stronger. He's getting more info. He is working on things to make the plan work even better. He now has these people he can rely on, and the people of like the religious commune kind of start to see him as like a hero. Like before he did anything, while he's training, everyone's kind of watching like this guy might actually be the one to like save us. So when now answer me this, Brittany. I don't remember, when does the scene where they're in the VIP they are in the VIP section and he sees my future wife there. That's what led up to the first attempt of him killing the bad guy, right? Okay, I skipped over that. So, but it was an important scene, but that one kind of, I don't know. I felt like that scene could have been shorter, but this character that we're talking about, my future wife, she's
fantastic.
You see this in a lot of movies. This kind of, you have the evil guy, the good guy, then you have the
damsel in distress.
Not even damsel in distress. She was in distress, but not in the distress where she's helpless.
Yeah.
It was kind of that thing where evil guy, good guy, and there was the supporting actress who is on the evil guy's side, but there's something in her that knows it's not the right thing. Yeah, like when she's, and I couldn't name any, but I know there are hundreds of movies that do that exact same thing. It's usually a woman, but it's either a guy or a girl, and they're kind of part of the bad guy team. But once the good guys and the bad guys get in their first conflict,
Yeah.
they start like, whose side is the good side?
I
And
see.
that's what kind of started to happen with her. So she kind of helps out like later on. But back to where we left off. They are getting ready, and they have everything in motion now, and now he is really John Wick now. Like he is
He's kicking ass and taking names.
Oh yeah, like so he goes, and it's this big, little chapter here where he's making his way little by little up the different floors, killing people, taking people out. He is so much stronger, faster, and he's more intelligent now than he was before.
Well, that's because he's fighting for a purpose. That's what
He
the
was
spiritual
fighting
people-
for a purpose in the beginning, but now there's even more purpose, right? Now it's not just the mom. Now he's like, I have I have this team of sorts of people that have taken care of me, and I want to kill this oppressor, the religious guy, Hitler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that when he was at the spiritual camp, when he like went under that like hallucinogenic drug,
Oh yeah.
and when the spiritual person is talking to him, and they say, you were fighting for pain before.
Yeah.
So fighting for pain, in a sense, means that like he
Yeah.
was just looking for more pain to add
And
on
it would
to.
never ever end.
Never ever end. So when he switches his main focus
Fighting
to
for what? What was it?
fighting for purpose,
For
like,
purpose, yeah.
that's when it
Yeah.
becomes like, okay,
Totally.
finding yourself again,
Mm.
knowing exactly what you're there to do, instead of just going and like, I have to do this, I have to do that.
Now we skip forward like 45 minutes of like some of like really cool action and fight choreography and there is a clear change. The movie gets really violent too. It was pretty violent in the beginning, but then it gets like
Super.
I think it started when the guy was swinging the axe and
Yeah.
just buried it in his buddy's chest. I was like, oh, okay, so now. Okay, so we're there now. Okay.
Yeah.
So he finally gets to the guy who killed his mom, and we have like we have like 15 minutes of flashbacks, which I'm never a fan of, but it was actually kind of crucial in this aspect because this is when we actually like this whole time it is alluding to this guy killed good guy's mom.
Yep.
We don't know why, we don't know how. Once we get face to face with the good guy and India Hitler, then we have like 15 minutes of flashbacks. We see the scenes where his mom is being killed, and it was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
And the main character as a little boy was watching it all. So they have this really cool fight scene, and then he ends up killing him, and I'm glad it wasn't quick, and I'm glad it wasn't one and done. There was like there was like a good 20 seconds of him like just punching him this like the same way over and over again, because I think that little 20-second snippet was a really good way of portraying that he is fighting more than just a kill. Like, he is looking at all of the evil in his life. He's looking at that evil. So even though even though one of these punches would have been fine and just killed him, he did it like 15 times because, I mean, he's looking at his mother's killer. There is no rational sense to him
At that
acting
point.
the way he is acting.
Yeah.
All he wants to do is just kill this guy.
Yep.
he finally does it, but of course it's not done yet.
No.
And it's around here that I get kind of lost, to be honest with you, because it's like, okay, why does he care about evil religious dude? And there was a lot more, like, honestly, Brittany, there was a lot more in the last half. And I understand the last half means an hour and a half. It's like truly in the last hour and a half, it just seemed really muddy for me. Like, I was able to follow the motives up until that point, and then it was like, all right, why are we doing all this extra stuff? Where did this come from? You know what I mean?
Well, because the thing is that you got to think about his background.
Sure.
When this super powerful, like, Hitler man comes into play and is saying that he's from poverty and everything like that,
fair.
he's like, are you serious? Like,
Fair.
and he treats all these people like, I don't know if you remember the interviews that some, like, people would have with him on the news.
Oh, yeah.
With the Hitler
Yeah.
guy. And he'd be like, those are my disciples. Like, you know, and he's treating them like horrible.
You know what? Yeah, I did not think of it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically he's taking him back, like, you don't get to rule this nation. Like, this is for everybody to be able to do, like, what they want, like, how they can, and get to that next level.
Plus, it's like, I guess what I didn't really think about until now is like, you know, we have such a powerful person like the religious bad guy.
Yeah.
We anybody in that anybody in that high of power that is working with India Hitler,
Yeah.
the guy who killed his mom,
Needs to go.
fair enough. Yeah, totally. I did not think of. Yeah, he would absolutely want to kill his entire team, even if he didn't even know that the religious bad guy existed.
Yeah.
He would, like, if
Take them all out.
because if all these powerful people are working with the guy that killed his mother, then clearly they all share similar thoughts and viewpoints. Totally. So now, wrapping up to the timeline of the story, he makes his way. It was kind of cool to kind of have all the fighting in this giant millionaire skyscraper, because you kind of got to see, like, as you went up each floor, it got more and more intense and cooler fights.
Yeah.
I mean, they did it so well. But he finally gets to the very top.
Boss level.
Seriously. How does he get to the top? Well, he kills the lady.
Yes. Brings her thumb.
Wife number 2, kills her, chops her thumb off, and at this point I'm like, okay. Like, I really, there was nothing pointing towards why he would need to chop her thumb off. So I was like, I guess, I was like, obviously there's something that he's gonna do with it that's important, but I'm just kind of thinking, like, I mean, it would have been nice to maybe know why he's doing it. But I was like, hey, far be it from me, man. You know, Christmas is coming up, and I don't have an ornament yet. So he chops her thumb off. He gets to the top floor. He puts the thumb up into the little fingerprint scanner. I'm like, oh, okay, that's
why.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he confronts the evil religious guy. They have like a 5-minute kind of dialogue. Totally, like,
He's
you
like,
know,
have mercy on
yeah.
me.
Well, no. Even before that, they're having this like 5-minute dialogue, a dialogue that you would see in like maybe Star Wars, maybe, of just kind of like, you know, like the religious bad guy isn't even worried that he's up on that floor. He's like very cocky and like, I have a plan that you, the likes of you, would clearly not understand. And where you're standing right now is where many men before you fell. I am clean. I am pure. Work, you know, just like totally like, you know, he is the answer, he is the way, he is the truth, he is the light, and he is also dead. Because the main character, like, the religious bad guy puts up more of a fight than I thought he was gonna put up.
Oh yeah.
Like he ran a couple nails through good guy's hands and stuff like that. Slashed his stomach. Like he got him pretty good.
Yeah.
But finally, it was pretty awesome. Like before, bad guy stabbed good guy's hands with these nails. Good guy had stuck the knife in his throat, but like not enough to kill him. So while good guy's hands were both occupied with nails driven through them, he leaned forward, bit the handle of the knife, and pushed it in farther with his mouth. And I was like, that is so cool.
Yep.
Religious bad guy finally dies. Good guy stands there. Lots of reflection, right? We're going through some more memories, but really quick now, right? Like they were simulating life flashing before your eyes before you die. And then finally, the camera zooms in. He closes his eyes. He falls. Helicopters come up to the glass. And then the credits roll. Now, Brittany, I am mad at the both of us. Ask me why.
Because I fell asleep.
No. Ask me why.
Why?
And this is on me too, we totally left out like the most important part, like the most important aspect of this movie. The legend of the monkey god. The whole point of this movie.
The whole point.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me.
Oh my goodness.
Brittany, I'm gonna try to save this. Okay, that's like the most important part of this whole. It's like the reason why this movie was made. Okay, folks. Stay with me. The movie's called Monkey Man. Why? Because when you're introduced to him fighting in the ring, fighting for money, right? He's wearing this very realistic monkey mask. You as the audience are supposed to like, why is he wearing the monkey mask? What does that mean? They go into it later, flashbacks to memories with his mom. His mom's telling him this legend of Hamamamu, this monkey god who went through basically the hero's journey. The monkey god wanted power. Same thing with the legend of Icarus. You know the legend of Icarus?
We'll discuss that later.
So the legend of Icarus is Icarus gains the power of flight but flies too close to the sun, which is where that phrase comes from.
Heard.
It's a Greek story from the ancient Greeks. The legend of Icarus flies too close to the sun. Well, how did he get to the sun in the first place with these great powers? But then he had his powers ripped from him because he got too close. It was the same thing with this monkey god. The monkey god couldn't like eat anything because he was punished. He tried to eat this mango, which was actually the sun. He swallowed the sun and he became, I don't know, he evolved into Blastoise or something, but I don't know. But basically, this monkey god is like the real deal. Like he's the hero of these legends. He is the savior. He's the fighter, and so throughout the movie, we keep seeing themes of the monkey god because that's what him and his mom, the good guy, those are the memories he has with his mom. He loved hearing these stories from his mom, so he took on that kind of character. So throughout the movie, we keep seeing these allusions to the themes of the monkey god, and we'll see maybe as they're fighting, there are portraits of like different primates, or they'll be out somewhere else fighting, and the painting of the monkey god is somewhere. He will do things like wear the mask, and when he was going to go on the final mission to kill those two main guys, he had dipped the mask in bleach and it turned white, because in the story of the monkey god that the mom was telling him about, when he had swallowed the sun and became powerful, the monkey god turned white and became the most powerful version. That's what he basically did, right? I think that was some great writing on
Yes.
on their part. So basically, after the main character has gone through all this horrible stuff and failed at his first attempt of killing this guy, when he finally changed, and for those of you who are just listening, I'm doing air quotes here, when he ate the sun just like the monkey god did, it hurt because the pain wasn't done teaching him. That was another big theme. And he swallowed the sun, in quotes, bleached his mask, which this is a part that kind of pissed me off. He put on this cool bleached white mask and goes to do this final mission. He wears it for 12 seconds.
And takes it off.
He wears it for he doesn't even get into the building. He rips it off and bam, bam, and just leaves it on the ground. That would have been cool. So then, fast forward, and then, okay, now you are all caught up. At the final scene of this story, where he's about to kill the evil religious dude, there's a giant mural of ancient India at war, and the monkey god on top.
Is leading.
Yeah.
I believe, yeah.
And he's looking at this mural, and there are like flashbacks and all this stuff of how it was actually kind of cool. He had flashbacks of things that had happened in the movie, and it was tying everything together in relationship to the story of the monkey god. And when you think about it, and you remember some of these specific scenes, you think to yourself, "Oh yeah, like that's like exactly what the tale of this monkey god thing was." Kills the guy. He has memories. Closes his eyes. Falls to the ground. That's the end of the movie. 3 hours. Monkey Man. Now let's get into some specifics. So now that you guys know the story, took a little bit longer, but again, 3 hours. Come on. Let's get into some of the specifics. What are some things you kind of want to point out? Maybe you have criticism on. You think it was a really good part of it. Tell me what you think, girl.
Well, what I think is that it was very well put together. I do like how they put the Monkey Man in there a lot, and compared both of the stories together, and how that's like what his mom raised him on, was worshiping this god. So I thought that was beautiful.
So I think the storytelling, I kind of lump storytelling and pace into the same kind of the same kind of thing. I think it was all right. I don't think it was perfect because, like I said, halfway through, and I was paying attention. Like I unlike Brittany, I did not fall asleep. I was really like, I was genuinely trying to like really understand. Kind of fell apart halfway through. I mean, I wasn't oblivious to what was going on, but you know, some things were just kind of like, okay, cool, but why are we doing this?
Yeah.
I think the you know, on the topic of acting, I think no fights. I think that the no fights acting, I think it was good. You know, I know Brittany, you had said that you think the main guy could have done better, maybe portraying the sadness. Yeah. And that, I mean, that's something I certainly did not think about. I don't know if I agree with you. Yeah. But I also don't think I disagree with you. I think it's just I wasn't really paying that much attention to that. I think because, you know, and here's a little conversation we can have. I think it was a little bit part of his character. He was a little bit more refined. Like I mean, he's certainly not shy, but what I'm saying is he's kind of to himself. You see the parts where people start talking to him, he's kind of like, oh, okay, yeah. You know, it's I think he is always angry and always has this vengeance that he certainly did display sadness at parts, but I think that was maybe like a part of his character with how because he's kind of jaded, right? he's kind of I mean, the dude's seen some shit.
Yeah, no,
He's
definitely
kind
seen
of
some
jaded,
shit.
but you do bring up a good point with that. The other characters, I think they did fine. I think manager lady did good. Wife number 1 did great. India Hitler, he could have been more menacing. Like
He could have definitely killed some more people.
Yeah. You could have
Wiped a whole entire.
you stopped at that. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was menacing. It really could have been more menacing.
Yeah.
Evil religious guy was fine. Good religious guy was good, but he got more screen time, so it's a little biased. And then some of the supporting characters were fine too. I think the acting overall was above average.
What would you give it on the action scale?
And explain what the action scale is.
Gore being 10.
Yeah,
And like
fair.
1 being like
Fair.
a punch.
I mean, like 6. You know,
Yeah.
6 because I think it was more than a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
But it wasn't Saw. You know what I mean?
No.
But yeah. So the music choices. Let me talk about this. So the music for the trailer was some of the best trailer music that I've ever heard. Not because it was particularly an amazing song, it's because of what they used and how they used it.
Yeah.
I mean, the marketing team, I think that was absolutely incredible. The music in the actual film, though, I wish every single song and music that was played in the film stuck to the theme of India.
I don't know. I kind of liked it.
Liked what? You liked JID?
Yes.
It seemed out of no.
No, I liked it because it was like, okay, like
But
the
they
lyrics
could
were standing out more than the actual music itself.
which was an even bigger issue. Like I wish they would have stuck to the theme because there are plenty of like trap rap from India. Like some of like the biggest artists out of India are like over trap beats.
Yeah.
And they could have used that. I wish I knew his name off of the top of my head, but a very famous Punjabi artist in India, like it's like the term for when they sing and it kind of slides up and down is called a gamaka, and he sings like with gamakas over like trap beats and stuff like that, and he's like one of the like the most popular artists in India. They could have used stuff like that, but then they used JID. They used the song that got the trend on TikTok to tape your phone to the ceiling. All the other music, you know that instrument that the guy was playing? Do you know what that's called?
No.
Tablas. So tablas are, again, and I know all this stuff because I have a pretty good Punjabi friend. I have a friend who is sick, and he's taught me a lot about the Sikh religion and Punjabi and stuff like that. So the tablas are like, and this is what's I can totally nerd out on this. The tablas is what the bongos are to the djembe. Like every culture has their small hand drum. Mm-hmm. We have the bongos for South America. We have the djembe for Africa. The djembe is my favorite. Mm-hmm. The tablas for India. And many more. The animal skin, the hide that is on top, the part that you hit on the bongos and the djembe on the tabla are very, 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 very firm and like so stretched out that it's like almost a hard surface, which is why when you played tablas, you saw him not doing this, you saw him doing this.
Yeah.
Because each tap of the finger, it makes a loud enough sound to hear it. So that's why one person playing the tablas who's really good can make it sound like raindrops. You can go that fast. It is so amazing. And they use that in a lot of the music. And then they put JID in there. Man, that pissed me off. Music, you get a. I can't give it a 0 because the traditional Indian music slapped though.
Yeah.
Get a 5, and that's generous. Overall, guys, I really like this movie. Lots of cool action. I knew I wanted to see it when I first saw the trailer. The music, again, the music is great. And the only issues I had with it was just some of the pacing here and then, and I'm very impressed with how tight they held on to the storytelling with 3 full hours. So is there anything else you want to say about this movie before we give it our final score, Brittany?
I think I'm ready to set it in.
Ready to set it in. Before we set it in, let me tell you this. Brittany might be a little disabled. Let me tell you why. Because Brittany said, I brought Reese's Pieces. And I was excited. Not because I knew I was getting any, but I was excited for her. You want to know what happened?
I completely
This
forgot.
lady right here. It is almost as if she said, I have a dog, and when I walked in, it was a salamander. She said, oh, I got it mixed up. I actually brought Yorkshire mint. And the reason why this is so on my mind is because there is no planet in this universe that could explain how Brittany got that mixed up. Like, if she had gotten Reese's Reese's Pieces, but she actually got Reese's Cups or peanut butter M&Ms, or even like I would have gone as far to say Skittles, but that would be right where the line is. But she was like, I brought Reese's Pieces. Oh, actually, instead of bringing little pellets of peanut buttery goodness, I brought these discs of toothpaste.
So basically what happened was when I was at the store, I picked up the Reese's Pieces box and I was like, I'm going to get these. And then I saw the Yorkshire mints and I was like, I'm going to get these instead. And it was because I had to check the expiration dates on the back. And I was like, which one's the freshest?
So, yeah, I had to make fun of her for that in the theater. I'm making fun of that. I'm making fun of her for that now. I would have it no other way. Guys, little bit of a longer episode, but the way that I recommend people to enjoy podcasts like these, even the main podcast, the Something Cafe podcast, watching the video isn't really necessary, guys. I want you guys to be able to just put this on while you're doing something. Maybe it's chores, maybe it's homework, maybe it's driving. I want you to put this on and just be a part of the conversation with us. Don't feel like you have to watch the video and the reason that I bring that up is because I've had some people say, "Oh, I really want to watch, but like the videos are so long." You don't have to watch the video.
Just put your headphones in and do something.
Because this is not just on YouTube. This is on Spotify, Apple Music, and Amazon Music and iHeartRadio. Mm-hmm. So you can enjoy this podcast wherever you want, however you want. And maybe you got a new favorite movie. So let us know what movie you want us to give our cafe critique to next. This was The Monkey Man, directed by Dev Patel. My name is Celestino Dooley.
And I've been Brittany Loudon.
And you have just been Cafe Critiqued.
Dun,
See you
dun,
later.
dun.